So I'm reading Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson right now, and if you haven't read it, you definitely should. So I'm only about halfway through it at this point, but there's already been at least one major insight that's stuck with me. And the more I think about it, the more I've realized this has been the force behind a radical shift in my business. And it's the thing that can radically change any business. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you my top 3 takeaways from this book that will change your business forever. And I know that it will because it did for me, and the same is true for my clients. My first 3 years of building my business, I averaged a $10,000 loss every year, and our revenue on top of that was dismal. Fast forward to last year, and we've had our first profitable year in the middle of a pandemic. We've seen massive growth rates month over month in our revenue and our profits, and we continue to grow with people coming to us now instead of me chasing down leads endlessly. Now, while a lot has changed since that first year, as I look back, it's really just been one simple mindset shift that changed everything for me. It can be easy to think that if we stick at something long enough, we'll eventually see results. And while this is true sometimes, we have to be careful that we aren't blindly following the same path that isn't working. In other words, if we keep doing what we've always done and it's not the right thing to be doing, we'll keep getting the same results or lack of. And even worse, as entrepreneurs, we have a vision, an idea, and it's close to us. So we're emotionally attached to this idea, convinced that it is the best idea in the entire world. And we know that if we just build this idea to be exactly what we see in our minds, it's a surefire success. We think that if we build it, they will come. We put so much trust into the quality of our product or service, and we go to any length to build this thing out, making sure that it's perfect, testing it, tweaking it, testing it again before we launch it. We spend days, weeks, or months creating a long business plan, painstakingly describing every detail of our idea, how it will work, and how we'll sell it. And what are we told when we say we want to start a business? Write a business plan. Consult a lawyer to file your LLC and trademark your name. Talk to a CPA to set up your bank account. Build a website. Create a logo. Well, if that's the plan that we all follow, then why is it that most startups fail and less than 2% of them will ever live to even see $1 million in revenue? There's a big problem with this. Businesses die in obscurity, period. You can have the greatest product or service in the world, but if nobody sees it, do you even have a business? If no one knows you exist or what you have to offer, you have no money coming in and you just have a really expensive hobby at this point. Now, this didn't hit home for me until I read Ready, Fire, Aim. In the book, he tells a story about 2 startups, comparing the founders. Now, the first is a New York City real estate broker, and he has this idea to build a website that lets large companies with excess office space rent it out. He's convinced his idea is going to take him to be the next Jeff Bezos. So he gets to work building out the website. He spends practically his entire life savings to build out the site, and his plan was to offer free advertising on the site that he would then renew at $59 a year after that first year. Now, after months of working on the site, it was finally done and he was happy with it. So he went on to trying to sell people on his free ad space and found out that no one actually wanted it. Now compare that to the founder of Street Glow, a company that sells LED light kits to go under cars. The founder made one rough prototype and then he went on to spend the rest of his time selling. He went to auto shops, events, trade shows, anywhere his audience would be found, and he shared his prototype. He was getting it in front of as many people as he could. He would collect orders and payments and then turn around and build out the orders to fulfill them as they came in. He never had an overstock of inventory on hand to deal with and just kept reinvesting the profits back into his business. Now that company eventually got up to over $20 million in revenue. So the lesson here is sell first. In the book, he says that each phase of a business has its own problems. And if you're doing 1 million or less a year, your number one problem is sales. So as the founder, your attention should be solely focused on sales, not on building out your product or service, not on finding office space, not on creating a logo or a website. Sales cures all. And it's especially true in the first stages of building a business. You generate sales by getting eyeballs to your offer, by generating attention. So as the founder, you should be focused on pushing more people to your offer through content, interviews, ads, anything you can do to get in front of the right people. My first 3 years, all I did was build out the service, thinking about how we would onboard clients that we didn't have, tweaking the website, changing the logo, but never actually putting the concept out there to see if it was something that people even wanted. And as a result, I lost $30,000 and had nothing to show for all those hours I thought I was grinding. In fact, if I look back, just about every business I've started, I did it backwards. I created the service or product, then tried to find the market to sell to. And that brings me to my second insight. Sell before you create. Now we've pivoted our entire business model because of the market, selling before we created. Get proof of concept first, but in the way that people actually give you money for your idea. Only worry about perfecting the product or service in the second phase, when you have steady clients coming in to the tune of $1 million or more. Although he talks about this being the answer to second stage growth, this one is important, I think, for entrepreneurs at any level. And it goes hand in hand with the idea of sell before you create. So the third insight is taking imperfect action. Success loves speed, and if we spend all of our time perfecting, tweaking, and waiting until something is just right, or until it makes complete sense in our heads, we miss out. This is why selling first is so important, because in a way, it forces you to take that imperfect action and move with speed. So if I sell someone on my course before I even create it, or if I take orders for my product before it's even been made, I now have motivation and pressure to create these things quickly and get them to my clients quickly. I also think this is one of the most powerful time management hacks out there. Set tight deadlines on yourself and watch what you're capable of when you don't have time to overthink or make it perfect. When you put it out there, you get feedback faster, which means that you can tweak based on actual feedback of actual consumers and not just what you think people want. So to recap, if you're under $1 million a year in revenue, your sole focus as the founder should be on generating attention, on getting eyeballs to your offer with the purpose of making sales. You should sell before you create to get proof of concept and ensure that there's actual demand and a growing market for your idea. And you should act with imperfect action. Get it out there and make changes only after you've gotten real feedback from your audience. All right, so this video is a little bit different than what I usually do, but if you got any value out of it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button below because it helps me know what kind of content to create for you guys. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get the latest when I post new videos just like this one. And if you want help generating the maximum amount of attention for your brand on autopilot so that you as the founder can focus on sales, then check out my free training over at get.upperhandcreative.com/learn, and I'll show you exactly how to implement this strategy in your business that's not only helped transform our entire business, but also for our clients. See you next time.